What do? Well, you could go to a driving school, which many do, or you can cast your lot upon the NASCAR Sportsman Series and learn these big racetracks just like your favorite racers have over the years. Welcome back, everybody. Along with Buddy Baker, I'm Eli Gold. The NASCAR Sportsman Series, it really is very much a learning experience for short trackers who want to make a move up the NASCAR ladder. But graphically, watch the difference between what you'll be seeing here shortly and the Winston Cup cars. Well, very simply put, for instance, in the Winston Cup garage, you want to take your spark plugs around and have them checked out by the spark plug experts. Well, you'll use this, a specially fabricated piece of metal that carries around spark plugs. In the Sportsman garage, though, they use this. It's also specially fabricated, but it's a piece of cardboard labeled 1 through 8, and you just plunk the old spark plugs in, and I think graphically, Buddy Baker, that is one of the differences, dollars.
Well, you can make this a lot quicker, too.
Sure can.
But, you know, talking about the guys in this race, some of the people that come from this division and went on to be great race car drivers, Todd Bodine, Ward Burton, Jason Keller, Randy Porter, Dennis Setzer, Mike Skinner, Jack Sprague, all these guys come from this division. This is where you learn, and you're not running 200 miles an hour down the straightaway, and you can acquire your driving talents by in these kind of cars because they handle quite well. They're not overpowered.
Right, there are no restrictor plates per se, but the rules that NASCAR uses for the Sportsman Series basically gives them some restrictions. The 2-barrel carburetor, for one, makes sure the speeds stay low. You cannot shift here. We talked about the fancy Jericho transmissions that the NASCAR Winston Cup teams use here and how they shift going around the track. Those are illegal in the Sportsman Series. So one thing, though, we'll be talking about a lot of memories here today because the cars you see being gridded right now all have very unique backgrounds. As a matter of fact, our pole-sitting car here today used to be one driven by Tommy Ellis for the Friedlander Financial Racing Team. Jerry Rector, our pole-sitter, has it here today at Pocono, and virtually every single car has a story, and so does every single driver, including Jerry Rector. Steve Burns is with him.
Hey, guys, Jerry Rector from Fountain Inn, South Carolina. I said, Jerry, is it hot enough for you? And he said,
it's too hot.
And he said it's about to get a lot hotter. Jerry, what can we expect to see out here today in 60 laps?
We don't really know yet. We don't know how slick the track's going to be after the Winston Cup cars has been on it. We'll have to feel it out for a couple laps and see how it's going to do.
Yeah, how will you approach the first few laps? Will you try to be careful, or just go ahead, be aggressive, and try and stay in the front?
Well, we won't be able to ease up too much. We've got a lot of good cars behind us, and we'll have to run it pretty hard.
Okay, best of luck, Jerry.
Now, if one were a betting man, which certainly, Buddy, you nor I are anywhere given to that, but if we were, you've got to say the early race favorite has to be Wally Fowler. He wins here consistently. He had a couple of wins taken away from him in the past because of parts that were not approved, but nevertheless, he's been a dominant car here at Pocono.
Well, he understands the racetrack, and that's so important here, and having those notes to go back to, knowing what springs, what shocks, that's so important.
Then there are guys like Bud Carroll. He's all the way at the back of the field. The significance is this will be his very first race on asphalt ever. He leads the IMCA dirt standings. He is their national point leader. Till a couple of weeks ago, he'd never seen an asphalt racetrack other than as a spectator, and now he's at one.
Well, you better believe one thing. He better not cock it to get in the corner because if he does, he'll make a new door out of here.
What would you have taken to have a series like this in your early days?
Well, I wished I had had this. I had to race in the what they call the convertible circuit. It was pretty much the same as Winston Cup when I first started, and then I run a lot of modifieds and all. But I really didn't get a chance to run super speedway until I was there, and all of a sudden, here's the biggest speedway in the world, and I'm looking at it, don't know a thing about it. I didn't have this type of training.
Steve Burns is standing by with the man we were talking about moments ago, Wally Fowler, who won here back in June. Steve?
Wally Fowler about to get some on-the-job training. He's buckled in, strapped in tight. Wally, how about it today?
I don't know. I tell you, this mean green Taylor Auto Sales Chevy was really fast this morning in the last practice, so we'll just have to wait and see.
You feel pretty confident today?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. We started 12th in June here and went on and was lucky enough to win the race. Today we're starting 4th, so I don't have near as far to go. I'd like to have been on the front row, but I had a little driver error yesterday. Maybe we can overcome that.
Well, let's move back a row to Randy Pemberton.
Lester Lesneski starting 6th here today. He's won in this series before at Charlotte on the super speedway there, but this is a flat track. Your success at this place hasn't been nearly as good, but have you got the car worked out? Can you get to the front and possibly win, Lester?
Well, we think we got a pretty decent car today. Things have really changed with the heat, and the radial tire rubber really, since we don't get to run on that, it will collect on these tires, and I think it's going to be kind of exciting probably for the first couple laps.
Is that your biggest concern, or are these cars a little bit older? What about the ventilation? You don't have to run the side windows in these cars or the cup cars or anything like that. Is the ventilation going to be sufficient enough for you?
Well, the only thing that we got in here is this little air tube. Basically, there is no air in the car, so it's pretty aerodynamically sound, I guess.
Okay, good luck today. The tough guy will win this afternoon, Eli.
And that car, by the way, is a Mike Laughlin car, kinda. He went down, Lester did, to Mike Laughlin's shop with a video camera, one of those little VCRs you got at home, like he was going on vacation, and he filmed them building a car. He said, I couldn't afford one, but they let him into the shop. He took a video of them building a Mike Laughlin car. He then went home and built one as close to those specs as he could just by playing that videotape forward and backwards.
Well, as you well know, he's always up front, so he did a great job.
He really has. We've got lots coming your way. 150 miles of racing. That's 60 laps here at Pocono. When we come back, we'll share some very unique stories and some very big dreams with you. Sportsmen are next. Thanks. Couldn't make it any warmer in here, huh? Huh? What's that?
Okay, I have a sheet here that I'm going to put up now. I can you?
What'd you say?
Groundhog. Groundhog. What? Groundhog, right?
Yeah.
That's my date. Y'all don't be messing with this. My date. Make it.
Yes, the air conditioner
Yeah, I
must have
do.
broken in here.
I drank with him last night. Shenanigans. That's how he looked. That's how he looked when I left.
That's how Buddy's tongue felt last night at midnight from informed sources.
No, I look like this. Make
Randy
it
is with
brighter.
Leighton, you said?
Okay. Where are the cars at?
They're probably gridding them in the infield road course out there by turn one. Welcome back to Pocono International Raceway. The Pocono Sportsman 150 set to unfold 60 laps around the 2.5-mile Pocono International layout. The Gatorade Sportsman 150 on Prime is being brought to you by the Gatorade Company. If you're not standing on the sidelines, you're going to get thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up. By Sports Cream. When you overdo it, massage in Sports Cream for fast relief of sore muscles without embarrassing odor. By Just for Men, the leader in men's hair coloring. Blends away gray in just 5 minutes. And by the Body Heat Activated Degree Antiperspirant and Deodorant. Let's check in with Randy Pemberton.
Starting 7th here this afternoon, Gary Layton. He's been on the pole here before at Pocono. He finished 4th the last time he was here. You had a little push in the car the last time. Have you gotten that fixed?
Yeah, we definitely got that fixed. We went too far the other way. We've been in practice, and I've been chasing the steering wheel to the right, so I hope we got enough bite in the car now to the last with the, the sunshine on the track now, it's going to be pretty loose anyway, so hopefully we're in the right place.
Okay, good luck to Gary Layton. That's a tough condition to have as they fire the engines on pit road down here. Eli?
As the crowd continues to file in here at Pocono, that is, I guess, Punxsutawney Phil, the famed groundhog from up here, who's kind of, I guess he's a camera hog. No, he's a groundhog. But, we have seen over the years virtually every kind of animal, four-legged and I guess the occasional two here at Pocono, but great to have Punxsutawney Phil checking in as we are set to go racing here at Pocono International Raceway. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for you and tell you a bit about some of these drivers as our afternoon continues. Jerry Rector, Marty Ward, he starts second today, ran his very first Busch Series race at Milwaukee just a couple of weeks ago. Andy Thurman and Wally Fowler, who won here in June. Don Wagner is next in line. That's your top 5 here today. Positions 6 through 10, Lester Lesneski, who builds his own car. Gary Layton, he's going for Rookie of the Year at Caraway Speedway in Asheboro, North Carolina. You've got Mike Galt, Joey Gaeta. He won the late model stock car classic at Martinsville in 1992. And Ronnie Sewell's car, he had problems earlier today, tagged the wall, but is ready to go racing this afternoon. Positions 11 through 15, young lady Sherry Minter, along with Stephen Howard. He is driving Scott Kilby's car. Robbie Faggart, Ronald Grindstaff, and James Lamoureux. Others in the starting field today, Bill Jarchapka, Bobby Fox Jr., Robert Caldwell, Jeff Ninneman, and Bobby Costa, a car that Neil Bonnet once tested in that 20th starting spot. Derek Countryman, Morris Weiss, Butch Mathis, Junior Green, and the legendary Henry Binfield from Junior Johnson's racing team, and the remainder of the field, including Larry Black at the back of the field in a car that Gary Brooks tried to qualify in a couple of races at Rockingham. Field now on their first of 2 laps. We're getting set to go racing in the Sportsman 150. Phil is having refreshments. We'll be back.
Phil.
Yep. Oh, Phil.
My. Now we go to break and we're back in 2, 3. Ooh, 29 cars. How many laps is this thing? How many laps is this race?
60.
Oh my God.
Or however long you'd like
29
to.
cars, huh?
Something like that. Yeah, 29 cars.
Mm.
No good. Wide to the left.
Low and outside. And they're headed towards Touchdown Jesus.
Welcome back, everybody, to Pocono International Raceway. NASCAR racing live on Prime, the Pocono Sportsman 150. Again, 60 laps of racing around this triangular racetrack. Some of the rules as the fans look on the high 90-degree temperatures today. We told you earlier you cannot shift here as the NASCAR Winston Cup teams do. Flat top pistons are what's called for. Factory cast iron heads and a Holley 350 2-barrel carburetor. And again, that kind of acts like a restrictor plate, although not truly one, but it gets the same job done, buddy.
Big time racing, small time budget, and that's what these guys do. They keep the rules this way so these guys can afford to race, first off, because you notice there's no great big sponsors on these cars. They pretty much are family-oriented race teams.
This racetrack is most unusual. 14 degrees of banking in turn number 1, although as we've seen already today, you don't use much of that banking, if any. The main straightaway is the longest single straightaway in all of NASCAR racing. Then the Long Pond Straight, 3,055 feet, and the North Straight, which ties together turns 2, the tunnel turn, and turn 3. And there you see the degree of banking, 14 degrees. That's the part of this track that was modeled after Michigan International Speedway. Then 8 degrees over the tunnel, that was the part of the track modeled after the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then the Milwaukee turn, the flat turn number 3. And that's indeed how they designed this track back in the early days, after 3 different turns at 3 different racetracks. And that front straightaway, it was once used as a drag strip. We mentioned it earlier. It is 6 or so lanes wide and some 3/4 of a mile long, and you got a wall staring at your face as you head to turn 1.
Or a landing strip for an F-15, either one. It's plenty long, yeah.
It would work. Elmo Langley now pulling the pace truck off this racetrack. One thing that you'll notice very quickly if you're new to the Sportsman Series, all of their starts and restarts are single file. They do not have double file starts in this division, simply because these teams are trying to learn their way through this form of racing. For many, this is their first time at asphalt, and for many, it's their first time on a super speedway. Atop the flag stand, one Robert Arthur Allison. Bobby Allison, the honorary starter for this NASCAR Sportsman Series, a close friend of the Mattioli family, the ownership group here at Pocono, and we're underway racing here in the NASCAR Sportsman 150 as the pole sitter tries to hold off any challenge, but Marty Ward in the orange car will quickly make a dart to the inside and try and beat him to turn number 1.
The bottom of the racetrack is the preferred line through this corner. That 14 degrees is a little deceiving because you don't really use that part of the racetrack. You try to get down on the flat part of that corner and make it through there as low as possible, then let it sweep out as you come off the corner.
Bobby Costa got an awfully good start, but he is going to be black flagged by NASCAR, a stop and go penalty. That start was a little bit too good, and he's going to have to come down pit road for a stop and go. As now you see others trying to make moves off the corner. Looking is Mike Galt, number 17, the black car, makes a move to pick up a position. He'll move up into the 7th spot. The 99 car, Stephen Howard, he'll use the inside groove in turn 3 to try and pick up a couple of positions.
I was watching Joe Gator there. He is some kind of loose there in that red car on the outside coming off the corner. I mean, it's switching back and forth on him. He almost lost it over on the turn tunnel there.
Battle for the lead now as Marty Ward, the orange car, holds off his pole-sitting compadre Jerry Rector in the 81. We told you Rector is in a car, the white car, that Tommy Ellis used to drive in Winston Cup racing. Marty Ward, the race leader, is driving a car that should run well. It's the former Ken Schrader Busch Series car, the very last car that Robert G. ever built before he retired from the business. And Andy Thurman in car number 31. That's a former Joe Ruttman Morgan Shepherd car for Kenny Bernstein. Back at 13th position, a good scramble right there. That's the battle for 13th. Robbie Faggart in the 8 car. Swinging to the inside. The 99, Stephen Howard. And they'll work back off towards turn number 3. Good side-by-side racing. All of this taking from 13th place on back. The top dozen are already single file and begin to spread out just a bit.
Eli, the one thing you notice here, there is drafting just like at Daytona. The straightaways are so long that getting with a good drafting partner early in the race and really separating yourself from cars that are pretty equal with you are very important for this race.
Down pit road comes the Bobby Costa car. He'll make the stop and go penalty we talked about as Jim Lamoureux, car number 42, kind of skitters to the corner. There's the stop and go penalty on Bobby Costa, who was just a little over anxious on the very start of the race. Back to the front of the field, Marty Ward in the orange 97. Jerry Rector in car number 81. Those two now pulling away by about 15 car lengths from 3rd place on back. And there's Butch Mathis doing a little agricultural racing here at Pocono. His 2nd Pocono start, has never run at Charlotte, and is a regular late model Sportsman dirt track racer. Maybe that's why he took the route he did.
Well, he held it pretty well down there. Every time I ever got in that grass, I got into the wall pretty hard, but he did control the car and get back into the race.
There's 3rd, 4th, and 5th place you got a glimpse of right there, and they begin to close in now on Marty Ward. You see him waving at Rector as caution is on the speedway. Caution on the speedway as Lester Lesneski now in the 98 makes a nice move to the inside of Andy Thurman's automobile. And we are under caution for the first time here, lap number 3 at Pocono International Raceway. Early in today's Pocono Sportsman 150, Marty Ward is the race leader. Jerry Rector runs second.
Uh-oh, look.
That's the Butch Mathis's stuff, yeah.
Look how wet. I'd like to get in that myself a little bit, real hard, and just watch it how far you'd slide.
Just like to wallow around in that. Huh?
Yeah. It's pretty dry.
Yeah. All righty. We'll talk about.
Is this the guy that's never run pavement before?
No.
No.
No, this is a guy in his second Pocono start.
Then he knows better. What tire? Ought to help him. Huh? Oop! Look at this. Look at this. This is a nice day.
This guy is. These guys are direct from 3 Mile Island. They never used to be orange. Back with you at Pocono. Here's cleanup underway after Butch Mathis took his off-course excursion earlier. Brought out the caution at lap number 3, and there you see the problems he had. The dirt tracker gathered it back in, though.
All by himself, but he does collect it back and continues on his way. Most people would have spun there, so he has a lot of car control, but man, was he in trouble there for a second.
He's driving Will Hobgood's old car, for those of you who remember, a fine Sportsman Series graduate. Let's go down to Randy Pemberton now, an update on our leader, Marty Ward.
Well, the leader's running pretty well. They have no problems whatsoever so far. What they're trying to do is draft and get away. With the situation here in the Sportsman division, they cannot change any tires. In the bias ply tires, there are no radial tires here. They can't change them unless they spin or flat spot them. So they have 4 tires sitting in the pits, but they will not use them. Also, gas mileage. What they're going to try and do is get away from the rest of the traffic. Maybe if this thing stays green, all they're going to have to do is dump possibly 1 can of gas. So you notice what they have in these pits down here, not very much comparatively speaking to the Busch Series or the Winston Cup Series. Their strategy in the Hooters pit, just run as hard as they can, get away, dump a little fuel, hopefully go to victory lane.
Well, it has worked, Randy, in the past. In 1994, Marty Ward finished second and won here. Here in June, he finished second, and right now he's at the head of the leaderboard, 4 of 60 laps complete.
Pace truck. Elmo Langley. Wow. Lester Lesneski on the move. Now running 4th.
It is Mike Laughlin knockoff. And the guy in the corner saying, "Hey, all that was Still working the first caution flag of the afternoon for the NASCAR Sportsman Series. We are live at Pocono Raceway alongside Buddy Baker with Randy Pemberton and Steve Burns. I'm Eli Gold. Glad you're able to tune in and join us here this afternoon. 5 laps are complete of the 60 as Elmo Langley pulls the pace truck off the racetrack. It's unique here in that they do pull the pace truck out of turn number 2 and let the race leader, in this case Marty Ward, pace the field back to the stripe. They'll be coming back through towards the green flag this time. Car 37, Scott Kutu, working his way up through the field. Saw a glimpse of him in 22nd spot. And again, all of the starts and restarts are single file here at all of the NASCAR Sportsman Series races. Doyle Ford holds them down, and green flag is in the air. And up through the gearbox they come. Marty Ward saw a peek from Jerry Rector to his inside, couldn't make it work. Lester Lesneski, though, using that wide straightaway to his advantage.
Boy, he always ends up near the front. Lester drives that car extremely hard down in turn 1 in the bottom lane there. Moves up a spot. Now he's running third already.
Took a position away from Andy Thurman in the 31 car. Middle of the field, that was 9th place you were looking at. Number 8 car working its way to the front, Robbie Faggart. He has a longtime Winston Cup crewman on board with him, Elvin Rector. Remember old Elvin Eugene Rector?
And the 24 car there making a move on the inside is Don Wagner. You see he has that lower line. You just have to give way when the guy's got that lower line going over the tunnel turn there.
Henry Benfield is going to be black flagged by NASCAR. He jumped the restart.
Not Henry. He wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't think.
For those that don't know who Henry Benfield is, he's the truck driver for Junior Johnson during most of the year, but a few times they let him out and let him come race the Sportsman division, and he has a great time. He really don't care that they black flag him. He'll be right back up there running like he's trying to win.
And Henry coming down the pit lane as the lead cars head back off into turn number 1. Taking a bit of a wider groove is Faggart, car number 8. That's the 10th place battle right now. Car number 99, Stephen Howard. The 24 there, Don Wagner. Howard doing a good job in blocking the Robbie Faggart automobile. And Don Wagner in the 24 having to get in line and at the same time look out for Joey Gaeta in the 83.
It looks like Faggart runs really well through the flat part of the racetrack, but when he gets down in turn 1, it looks like he has a direct push, so he loses a lot of ground. Here's your 2 leaders now coming toward the front straightaway. Look at Lester Lesneski there in 3rd place, putting the heat on the leaders.
He's trying to deal with first the pole sitter, Jerry Rector in the 81, and then Marty Ward, who took the lead earlier. Working the 8th lap, as Rector again sneaks the peak to the inside, but Ward is strong, but he drifts a bit wide that time. Oh, and the rear end just about comes around Ward, and here goes Rector for the lead. Jerry Rector right there taking advantage.
That is one of the biggest mistakes you can make on this racetrack is overdriving the corner, getting into turn 1. I mean, once you start to slide, you're up the bank, and all of a sudden the car loses every bit of its handle.
It's easy to have your car get away from you in that high-speed turn number 1. It's a high-speed hairpin, basically. Take a look at it again, buddy.
Well, you can see them coming down. They're running side by side. Now everybody gets in line. Marty Ward drives really hard down in the corner. As he starts down, he pulls into the lower lane. Watch the back end. Right about, you see it lose right there. He chases the car up the hill. 2 cars get by him coming up out of the corner.
So Rector is the leader now, and here's Lesneski going for the lead. At the stripe, lap 9 is led by Rector, but Lesneski works to his inside, and Marty Ward will come down pit road. He was leading moments ago, but he'll now be going to the pit lane for service as Lesneski takes the lead in turn number 1. Randy Pemberton is in the Marty Ward pit.
Well, this team stood up just like Jerry Rector's did when he got past. They stood up high, and Jerry Rector's team was applauding, and these guys were looking kind of somber. They've got a flat right rear on the Hooters machine. They're going to change 1 tire. When they get this tire off, they'll take it to the NASCAR inspectors. They'll check it, make sure it is flat. It looks indeed flat to me as they roll it back here. They dump some gas, got the tire change. He's back out, will not lose a lap.
So he won't lose a lap, and that's the benefit of this long, slower racetrack at Pocono.
Well, Marty Ward fell prey to one thing. When you get up in that upper groove up there, there's a lot of debris up there, and these bi-ply tires cut a lot easier than the radials that are used by the Winston Cup cars.
Lester Lesneski, the race leader. And you also got a glimpse moments ago of the 17 car. That's Mike Galt driving a former Darrell Waltrip automobile that got away from him in the corner, but he manages to save it nicely also.
I'm thinking about hiring this guy.
He is also a dirt tracker by trade, Mike Galt is. His dad owns the Cherokee Speedway in Gaffney, South Carolina, and made his dad proud with that nice save there. Everybody on the lead lap of the 28 cars that are actually running on the speedway. 3 cars not being scored by NASCAR at this stage of the afternoon. So of the 29 that are actually, or 28 that are actually running, all of those I should say, are on the lead lap. Lester Lesneski, the leader. There you see the 4 car and the 31 running in 3rd and 4th position. Wally Fowler and the 31 automobile of Andy Thurman.
Thurman's using up a lot of racetrack. You see the car moving around there. It's just a matter of time. Isn't that the old song that they say? Fowler is always up front. He's got a great knowledge on the racetrack, and now he's moving towards the front as we speak.
Wally Fowler in car number 4, a car built by Banjo Matthews' shop for the Sportsman Series. It is not a former Winston Cup car, and he has problems there off the corner.
I'm going to tell you one thing. These guys can get out of trouble as good as anybody I've ever seen. To get in such terrible shape getting in the corner.
Andy Thurman in the 31 will try and pass Fowler. They're running 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. The 74 is Gary Layton now closing in on the scene. Layton and Tim Bender's old car that was built at that Motorsports Training Center in Mooresville, North Carolina. Let's watch Fowler again do the nice save in turn 1.
Man, if there's an Attaboy award, he gets it for this. Look how far sideways. You see him turn the steering wheel towards the slide. Now he gets it back. He takes the second bike, straightens it right up, and goes on.
Probably couldn't have done that with a radial tire.
Probably couldn't do it twice, as a matter of fact, but he got by with it that time.
Lester Lesneski now begins to pull away as he has the lead. Early stages of the Pocono Sportsman 150 live on Prime.
Brought to you by Ding, ding, ding. Lester, you're stinking the show. Somebody tell Lester he's stinking the show. But I'm sure it's going to take him another 4 or 5 laps just to get his courage back. Wow,
That was a hell of a save.
Layton looks him over. Will he make the move? Yes. Wow, these cars are fun sideways. Wow.
3 8/10 seconds.
Dude. Lester must have somewhere to go. He's in a hurry.
Has the early dinner reservation.
You got it. We could have had 2 cautions as easy as not, you know?
Heck yeah.
Look at Layton. Looking outside, inside. Will he make the move? Of course. But he's not gonna make it. Wally Fowler. What is Layton?
We are back at Pocono International Raceway. You're looking at Wally Fowler working his way closer to the front. He and the Gary Layton car, the yellow machine behind him, running 3rd and 4th. Lester Lesneski, though, continues to lead by 3 9/10, nearly 4 full seconds now, as he pulls away here at Pocono International Raceway. Good run, though, for Fowler, who we told you won here back in June. Leighton in the 74 car had the pole here in June, so those are a couple of very accomplished sportsman drivers here at Pocono International.
The 8 car there, Faggart, is going down towards the tunnel turn right now. He's being challenged by the 62 car. That's Ronald Grindstaff.
Right, that's an original A.J. Foyt car, Ronnie Grindstaff's automobile. That was an A.J. Foyt car that he purchased back from that operation. It is a 1987 chassis beneath that skin. There's a good look at Faggart and Grindstaff running in the 8th and 9th positions. And here comes Lester Lesneski. He is on pit road, stopping here at lap number 15, an unscheduled stop as Marty Ward, the leader, was in earlier, and now Lesneski is in. So Lester, who had built up better than a 4-second lead, is on the pit lane. And let's see what the crew does.
They're putting in fuel right now. They don't seem to be working on the car, just taking on a little bit of fuel. So
Steve Burns is down there watching what was a nearly 9.1 second stop.
Eli, all I could see was they put gas and did nothing else to the car. They made no chassis adjustments, obviously didn't change tires. We're not sure why they added gas to the car.
And Jerry Rector is following him down pit road. There is Rector now. Randy Pemberton is in his pit area.
Well, they have a little more of a problem, and it's on the left side. It's the left rear, Eli. As Goodyear has gone a little flat, he may have run over some debris. They're speculating. Left rear tire just shredded on Jerry Rector's car, running so well early on. They've got the new one on now, obviously giving gas. They can go the distance now. If they can get this tire on, get back out, and not lose too much time.
And problems for Gary Layton coming out of turn number 3. Caution is yet to be displayed by Doyle Ford atop the flag stand. Layton, who is in only his 2nd year of auto racing, now brings out the caution. So caution on the speedway, lap number 16 for Gary Layton, who spins out of turn number 3. This is a man who runs drag racing boats for a living until going auto racing, and he is in his sophomore season in motorsports. That's all. As you see the running order with all the pit stops, Andy Thurman now ahead of the pack with Wally Fowler, Don Wagner, Stephen Howard, and Joey Gaeta rounding out the top 5.
Okay. Gary Layton in trouble. I think you're all in trouble. Geez, these cars are loose. Okay, so your colleagues over here making little...
Yes. All right.
No.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should get 4 new tires, Randy. Whew. Talk of smoke.
Here comes the 24 and the 8.
Taggart.
Back with you live at Pocono International Raceway. Gary Layton, who brought out the caution, now heads down the pit lane. He'll join Robbie Faggart, who is in. Don Wagner has made his stop, and there are Layton's problems in the corner.
Well, that's off that slow sweeping corner coming toward the front straightaway there. He's very lucky not to get out in the grass and get in the inside wall that you see there. Look at the smoke coming off those tires. He's still got the wheel spinning there.
Sure does. Gary Layton brings out the 2nd caution flag of the day here at lap 16. The first caution was on lap number 3 when Butch Mathis went through the dirt in the corner and kicked up some debris onto the racetrack. Gary Layton running for Rookie of the Year at Caraway Speedway. That car that Leighton has is Mike Skinner's old car. When Mike moved on to the NASCAR Super Truck Series, Leighton bought the equipment. And that's Sherry Minter's car. Let's get an update from her pit.
Eli, the 61 car of Sherry Minter, she started 11th today. That's the same car that she wrecked very hard at Charlotte back in May, wrecked again here in June. And on her dashboard, I looked inside the cockpit before the race, it says, "Never give up." Now that's appropriate for her. And I'll tell you something else. I just talked to her crew. They say she is not going to stop for gas. They think she can go the whole way.
Well, I guess it'll depend upon the number of caution laps, too.
I would like to add to Sherry Minter's story just a little bit. She wrecked the car very hard at Charlotte, but she also sat on the pole there for the race, and she's very good at driving in the Sportsman division. I think she will win someday on the Major Speedway.
Green flag is in the air for our race leader, Andy Thurman, in car 31. Joe Ruttman and Morgan Shepherd used to drive that car in Winston Cup racing. Then Butch Miller drove it as it was converted to a Busch Series car. Now Andy Thurman has it as the leader here at Pocono. He took the lead at lap number 16 after Lester Lesneski made his pit stop.
Good catch there. The number 44 car of Jeff Ninneman. Thank you very much. I was fixing to get to that.
Ninneman as in cinnamon.
I got you.
That was what he told me yesterday. Nice save for him as the lead pack of cars now work the Long Pond straightaway. The leader is car 31, Andy Thurman. And Wally Fowler is second.
Andy Thurman's running very well on the flat part. As I say that, Fowler makes a move going into the wide sweeping turn here. He should make his pass on the bottom side pretty easily.
Crawford Clements does the engines for car number 4, Wally Fowler, and he builds him a pretty stout power plant. Car handles pretty well too as they come to the stripe. Thurman will continue to lead by about a foot.
Okay, Thurman's car has a direct push as he turns into turn 1. Watch him go up the racetrack as Fowler makes the approach into the lower lane. He will push up and lose some 2 or 3 car lengths just about right now. Well, not that bad.
No, not bad at all. Let's see. Looks like he's getting a good jump off the corner.
Well,
battling against Fowler.
As you can see earlier in the race, Fowler's got a loose condition. He was completely sideways not long ago. I think he's a little bit afraid to drive that car hard on the bottom because he did get sideways just a while back.
Wally Fowler now makes the sweep across the tunnel turn and grabs the lead away here at lap number 19. Back in May at Charlotte, that man, Wally Fowler, won one of the Sportsman races, finished third in another, and then had a broken rocker arm stud and finished well out of the battle earlier in that early race. Good three-way battle now. Lester Lesneski grabbing 14th place away as he begins to scramble back to the front. And Fowler officially now the race leader as he takes the point here at the stripe.
As you can see, they're 4 wide down the front straightaway right now. That's one thing that Pocono Speedway is famous for, is the 4 wide, and then you have to get back at least 2 by 2 going into turn 1.
Question sometimes is who's going to give, as they use a number of different grooves to the corner. The 62 car, Ronnie Grindstaff. Also making a move, there's Marty Ward, that 97 orange and white machine. He's cutting himself a pretty quick lap right now.
Well, that's Jerry Rector, and he is really running well, but he's caught up in some little bit slower traffic than he was running with earlier in the race. And you can't get just where you're bulling your way through. You have to use a little finesse.
Car number 44, Jeff Ninneman, just ahead of Marty Ward. They're running in 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Those 4 cars you see right there.
Now watch Marty off the corner here. That car really gets with it. He'll probably pass 2 or 3 cars down the front straightaway. He put one away coming out of the sweeping turn. Now he's going by the 38 car right now of Bobby Fox Jr.
Bobby Fox, a 5-year road racer before joining the NASCAR Sportsman Series, and Marty Ward makes the grab, so he's now up to the 7th position.
Wow. That had to be Henry Benfield. Whoa, whoa, little contact there. Both of them keep going, though. The 91 car of Morris Bryce almost lost that car.
Bobby Costa, the 76, the other car who had Also gotten out of shape in the second groove up off the bottom. Back up front, good battle for the lead still going on. Andy Thurman in the 31, Wally Fowler, the race leader in car number 4. We are at lap 21 of 60, so this race clicking along in a hurry. Fowler, a 15-year dirt track racer, that obviously has taken well to the asphalt.
You see right behind them, third place car of Jerry Rector. He's running both the lead cars down right now, so he's probably the fastest car on the track. But these two cars, if they really hook up and don't race side by side, they should, with the draft and everything, be able to pull away from the third place car a little bit.
And that's what they're doing right now, hooked up together. Pit stops for some of the teams in the back of the field still underway as we watch the leaders. Bill Jarjabka makes a pit stop here at lap number 22. Lead battle's a good one.
Well, Andy Thurman's running very well. He seems to run better in second spot. With the push that he had in that car, I think behind the car it loosens you up just a little bit, and it seems to be helping both cars. But you see Rector there is not losing any ground whatsoever. If anything, he's closed in about 2-3 car lengths on that one last lap there.
Rector is running in third. Fourth place, Joey Gaeta. Lester Lesneski now up to fifth. Marty Ward runs sixth. Seventh is Bill Galt. Eighth belongs to Ronnie Grindstaff right now. Ninth is Stephen Howard. And 10th is Bobby Fox Jr.
Man, I wouldn't get out of the electric chair to run in that 4-car of Wally Fowler now. Do you see how sideways he got? There's Rector. He's run him down now. He's pulled into the lead draft, and there's no doubt about it. He's the fastest car of this group.
He was the pole sitter here today, Jerry Rector in car 81. That speed slowed by 2 caution flags. Wally Fowler, Andy Thurman, Jerry Rector. Those 3 men battling for the lead here at Pocono, lap number 23 of 60. Out of turn 3, back to the stripe. Yet another lap being led by Fowler. He's led the last 5 with a good battle for second.
Congratulations. Timed that perfect. No, you're doing fine. Lester Lesneski is in 4th already. He was like 17th. Marty Ward, all right. Well,
there goes the lead.
Who's right behind Lester? Whoop. Okay.
Nice.
Ooh, look at this.
Yeah, that's the lead right there.
Man, whoa.
Ah, good one.
Mm-hmm. Andy Thurman puts the heat on as they go into the long sweeping turn. He makes the pass. Just for you.
Thanks. don't give up your day job.
Oh, jeez. Thanks a lot. And the chops I got. Oh. Wow. Nice. Look at Lester. He's going to get him. I'm telling you, he's coming.
Who do you want? Throw it down
Like
on
a
the
beacon
table.
in the night.
Throw it down. Throw it down on the table. Who do you want for a buck?
I'll take Lester. Oh.
Andy Thurman is currently leading the Pocono Sportsman 150, but while you were away, we have seen virtually everybody with a race car lead at one time or another. Here's what happened as soon as we had a chance for a Rector to see an opening.
Well, you see Rector making the move here for the lead, but watch the 31 car of Andy Thurman. He takes advantage of this move and moves on the inside of Rector as they head into the long sweeping turn towards the front straightaway.
So Andy Thurman now takes the lead. Rector running in second. Wally Fowler is in the now second spot. And Rector, he and Fowler swapping spots around there. You see at each and every turn of the speedway. it's been changing. Meanwhile, Lester Lesneski only 2 3/10 seconds behind. A lap ago, he trailed by 3 2/10 of a second. So there's old Lester with that Mike Laughlin knockoff car of his that he built from videotapes. And there's the battle for the lead again, going across the turn and back down the north straightaway. So bobble a second, and you're going to go from the penthouse to the outhouse here.
Yeah, you know, always ask the question, what's the great part of sportsman racing? The experience they're getting right now by racing and making these moves for the lead like that. They're learning so much about drafting, car position, and everything that they're learning about Major Speedway will benefit them later on as they move up into better divisions.
Now 4th place, a good battle as well. Car number 83, Joey Gaeta. Marty Ward in car number 97. Remember, Marty made a pit stop at lap number 9 and now is scrambling himself back towards the front. Gaeta in the 83 has yet to stop. Marty Ward hoping for a NASCAR Busch Series career for Rookie of the Year honors next year. He ran his first ever NASCAR Busch Series race in Milwaukee, as we mentioned a couple of weeks ago. There's a good look at Marty from Marietta, South Carolina.
Well, Marty Ward's already moved up to 4th, and like you say, he's making great moves towards the lead right now. Lester Lesneski has moved into about a 20-car length. He's trailing right now the leaders by about 20 car lengths, so he's on the move also.
That's Ward and Gaeta. 4th and 5th, you see right there over the tunnel turn. Did you used to name parts of your race car, buddy, when you were racing?
Yeah, but you wouldn't want to know the name.
The reason I bring it up, Lester Lesneski, right there in car 98, he has an engine under the hood that Doug Hess from Sapco Racing helped him build. But the parts have a yellow tint to them, and part of the engine block is yellow. They call it the Screamin' Lemon.
How about that?
Yeah, that's the name of the engine there.
As we speak, Lesneski just went by Thurman there for 3rd place, so he's on the move towards the front. This car was leading earlier, and it really gets off the corner extremely well.
A lap and a half from halfway here at Pocono. Again, this event clicking along an average speed now of 118.661 miles an hour. Slowed only twice by caution. Butch Mathis putting some debris on the track at lap 3, and then Gary Layton spinning in the 3rd turn at lap number 16. That's 2nd place right there, Andy Thurman, or at least 3rd place, I should say. And the first 2 cars you see there are your race leaders coming out of the corner and back to the stripe. Remember the 81 car there, Jerry Rector. He is a lap down at this stage, made his pit stop at lap number 15. That's why we are not talking about him with the race leader, car number 4, named Wally Fowler.
Wow. Wally Fowler gets a little bit wide coming off the corner there, but what he's doing right now, he's just sitting in the catbird seat, drafting along with Rector.
So Rector is on the tail end of the lead lap. The caution should come out now. He'd be allowed to come around and make up that distance on the racetrack. It'll be halfway next time by as the lead cars work towards turn number 3. 26 cars still on the lead lap here at Pocono.
I'm going to make a prediction. Lester Lesneski will take the lead in the next 2 laps. He's run Fowler down from about 20 car lengths, and he's right on his back bumper down the front straightaway now.
We'll find out now as they close in to turn number 1. Lap number 30 going up on the board. Halfway home as we are here at Pocono International Raceway, the NASCAR Sportsman Series. Continuing with the leader.
Cloud of dirt.
Mighty high.
Me picking him to take the lead in 2 laps was like saying it's funny.
Yeah.
You could have said that too, you know.
Yes, you could have.
Wow. Your karma's fine. Let's face it, it looks like practice here. We have a buck bet up here, but we can't tell who we're betting on out, not on the air, huh?
No, I wouldn't think so. Got it.
Your man better get busy, though, Eli.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. That would be the lead pass there. 98 is the leader.
Wally Fowler is hanging on to a very loose race car.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you got a replay, you can just sock that in there.
Well, he pitted at lap number 15, never did lose a lap. And as Buddy Baker, the all-knowing, all-omniscient one, told you before break, looked to Lester to take the lead.
That was like saying it's going to be sunny today. It's well into the 90s here today, and Lester Lesneski has turned up the heat. Do you like that?
I like that. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Got to make him feel good, though, in all seriousness, because that is truly a home-built race car, as we said earlier in the show. And that is a superb run for Lester after making his pit stop at lap number 15. Running in the second spot still is Wally Fowler. Third place, they're posting Andy Thurman. Marty Ward is fourth. And a good ride for Joey Gaeta in the fifth spot. Good scramble. Don Wagner, the 24, leading a pack of cars. Ronnie Grindstaff behind him. Back into turn number 1, the 91 car. Morris Bice. That's the old, remember the Slender U racing team?
Oh, yeah,
Winston
from
Cup?
Tennessee,
Yeah,
yeah.
Morris Bice is driving an old Slender U car that has been reborn in the Sportsman Series.
Trying to decide what it's an Oldsmobile. That's exactly what it is, yeah. So that's where all the Oldsmobiles that used to frequent the Winston Cup have gone. They've gone into this division.
Right, Robin Caldwell is driving an Oldsmobile. Jason Keller gave him the sheet metal there. This is the battle for 6th place now, coming out of turn number 3, back to the stripe. The 11 car, Henry Benfield, and the 17 car of Mike Galt. Henry, a longtime Junior Johnson crew member. Many of the parts on the car are from Junior's shop, as you would expect. And you can't really see it from here, but there's a sign on the side of Henry Benfield's car, number 11 there. It says Junior Johnson and Associates. And then underneath it, it says Ben and Sam. And for those of you who don't know, Ben and Sam are Junior's dogs. And
that's it.
Henry said, oh, I'll give them credit here this weekend, too.
And when he runs at Charlotte, it's Humpy's personal lawn service. Because he does back that baby across that grass in front of the grandstand at least one time every year.
Steve Burns has a further story on Henry Benfield with our Gatorade Pit Report.
Guys, I got to give Henry Benfield credit for one thing. When he goes racing, he brings good equipment and good help. You can see back here, he's got Brett Bodine's pit box. All Brett's equipment for Sunday. On the wall here, hey, high-priced help. This is Harold Stott. He was a member of the All-Pro team last year. He's been changing tires for Bud Moore for many years. So high-priced help and high-priced equipment.
It is a pretty good race car, too. If you remember Mark Stoll, that's a Mark Stoll car that Fred Lorenzen used to drive, the one Henry Benfield's driving. He drove it in that NASCAR Legends race at Charlotte a few years ago. Meanwhile, back at the front, Lester Lesneski. Once he got clear of race traffic, buddy, he's setting sail here.
He is checking out at the moment, but there's some people back here. If we had a caution...
One car, we may have one. A car just tags the wall in turn number 3 and rim rides it all the way around. Problems for Derek Countryman, and caution is on the speedway. That is a former Rick Hendrick car that has been driven by both Jeff Bodine and the late Tim Richmond. Derek Countryman brings out the third caution flag of the afternoon at lap 35. And you were saying about a caution.
I don't think I'll ever say caution again. I certainly didn't want to see it. Derek was running quite well today and got into the wall. You can see a lot of damage on the right-hand side of that car.
So the second spin of the day in turn number 3 brings out our third caution flag of the day for Derek Countryman, the car that Jabe Jones used to drive as the 04 car in the Sportsman Series, brings us to our third yellow of the afternoon.
Okay, that brings your dollar closer to the proverbial desk here.
Yes, it does.
And also gives Robbie Faggart a time to slows up on the leaders.
Well used.
Yeah, I might as well get mine out right
Let's see
now.
whatever
I never
happens.
win a bet. Never.
Well, you never know.
Well, yeah.
I don't win
You'll
too many
never
more of
know.
those either.
That's almost a sure thing to bet with me. Luck had nothing to do with my life.
You sold your racing team.
Oh, I forgot.
You were lucky to stumble across that route.
He looks like he's okay. They're going to put him on the hook, though.
Friends, Romans, and countrymen.
Lend me your ears, both of them. I am here to praise Caesar, not to bury him.
I've come to Caesar berries, not to praise them. It's Henry and the high-priced pit crew, along with the high-priced Steve Burns looking on.
Henry Benfield. Now here's something you don't see that often in a sportsman race. These guys know what they're doing. They made a chassis adjustment, so he should just be flying now.
Way to put the pressure on him, Steve. Joey Gator was in car number 83. Other pit stops now taking place. The 75 of Junior Green is in. The 74, that's Gary Layton, Robbie Faggart's team, led by Elvin Rector. That's the long time. He was with Bobby Allison's team when Bobby and Gary Nelson won the Winston Cup Championship. And that's a darn good race car, too, because Frog Fagan, you remember the late Frog Fagan?
I sure do.
He was instrumental in building this race car, too. So there's some high-priced talent on that automobile as well.
Well, Robbie Faggart usually runs right up front, but you could see they took 3 rounds of bite out of the right rear, so he must have had a tremendous loose condition on that car.
And you know, that man you're looking at, Robbie Faggart, really the only series champion that this NASCAR Sportsman Series ever had when they had a sponsorship from the Igloo folks back in 1992. That was really the only year they've ever had they've crowned a true champion, and it was that gentleman, Robbie Faggart, who is planning on a NASCAR Busch Series schedule next year. And there is Derek Countryman's car heading back to the garage area. Turn number 3. It's been eating up some race cars here in the last little bit. Gary Layton spun there earlier. Now Derek Countryman, though Layton has been able to continue. Just joining us earlier today, the NASCAR Winston Cup teams ran for the Busch pole, and Bill Elliott's outdueled everybody else to take the top spot for Sunday's Miller 500 here at Pocono International Raceway.
Give a lot of credit to Mike Dean, because Bill Elliott said that he's added a great deal to this team, and he's really proud of the way the car is working here.
Down pit road comes the Bobby Costa car. You can see the ratchet sticking out of the hole there in the left rear of the car. That's how they adjust the weight distribution, the jack bolts, and they're having trouble. Well, they hadn't even gotten it on the jack bolt the first time.
Wow. Get a better hope. Wow, 3 rounds there.
That's a car that Neil Bonnet once tested. They bought it from Kirk Shelmerdine and has many RC. As a matter of fact, only there are Richard Childress parts on there, but under the hood there is an engine built by Spenny Clendenin, who does the engines now for Dale Earnhardt. So again, some pretty good talent right there. Let's go down to the Marty Ward pit now. Randy?
Well, Lawrence Ledford, the car owner on Marty Ward's, the car owner for Marty Ward. It's still a little hot out here, Eli. What do you think? You had the stopwatch on him. You had a little problem early on. Now you caught the caution. You're back up to about 4th. Can you run with those guys?
I think the Hooters car can probably run with them. We might be a tad loose and just a heartbeat off of the 98 car, but we're going to have to find out now that he's caught up to him whether he can do anything with him or not.
How much will the draft affect him out there? Is that something that maybe takes a little away from the stopwatch? You're not quite sure because of the draft?
Yes, the draft with the 98 car and the 4 and the 31 made him a little faster than we were running alone there, but maybe we can do something with him now.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Well, the strategy is unfolding down on the pit lane as we're about set to go back to green here at Pocono. There is the aforementioned Marty Ward. He'll restart in the 4th spot. Lester Lesneski, the 98, is the leader. Wally Fowler in 2nd spot. 3rd is the 31 of Andy Thurman. And then Marty Ward, about whom we've just been speaking. Single file restart as always. And here we go, quickly taking some outside grooves now. We're going to be seeing a couple of teams scramble to the front. Don Wagner in the 24, while everybody else went wide inside, he went outside.
Wow, you see Marty Ward, he moved up into 3rd place there. They go off side by side, though, with the 31 car of Andy Thurman.
Thurman staying wide. Ward has the preferred groove if it'll stick down low for him, and I don't know if it's going to.
Well, I think Marty Ward, if he can just stay side by side going down through there, he can make the pass over the tunnel turn there.
Thurman is 31 car. Ward the 97. This is the battle for 3rd.
Well, he just goes right on. Most of the time you have to give ground there. You see Marty Ward get a little bit sideways getting in the corner there. That's what his car owner was just talking about. He has a little bit of a loose condition, and when you're underneath like that, it loosens the car up quite a bit.
Mike Galt was the other car in the equation there, number 17, who you saw trying to work his way over the tunnel turn. The leaders, though, beginning to pull away. 1st and 2nd, Lesneski and Fowler. They right now are 1 1/10 ahead of 3rd place Andy Thurman and the other cars behind them.
Well, just back here in, let's see, in fifth place right now is the 24 car of Don Wagner. He's running quite well. He's moved into the top 5 now.
There you see Wagner watching Ward in the 97 again try to pull off the pass against Thurman in car number 31. And here comes the 24 car, painted up somewhat like Jeff Gordon's car. That's Don Wagner. But he's going to be bypassed now going towards the corner. 17 gets by. That's Mike Galt. Others also make the moves to get by. So not a good lap right there for the 24 of Don Wagner.
Well, Morris Bryce made the move too, so when he moved out there, he lost 2 positions. Right now, the outside groove is not paying off.
Marty Ward, you saw the 97 there. He has made the move around Thurman to take over 3rd spot. That's the good news. The bad news is they're falling further behind the top 2. Lester Lesneski, who is now pulling away from Fowler by 0.6 of a second, and they're better than 2 seconds ahead of 3rd place Marty Ward.
Well, Marty's got a very fast car, and what he needs to do right now is kind of run by himself and let the tires cool off a little bit, and then really make an assault on the first 2 cars. You see his car is tracking very well through turn 1 now. If he comes out on the back straightaway, the other end of the spectrum is Andy Thurman's car moving up the bank all the time, so he has a bad push in that car.
Inside of 20 laps remaining. You're watching a pretty good scramble. 2 cars to the lead, 2 for 3 and 4, and then these cars for 5th, 6th, and 7th place right now. The 17 is Mike Galt. That's a Darrell Waltrip car from years gone by. The 91, Morris Bice, in that former Slender U car. And Don Wagner in yet another Darrell Waltrip car.
Darrell could almost make a living selling cars in the way it sounds. He's got many cars in this event today.
He does. "19 laps to go for race leader Lester Lesneski. And that's Screamin' Lemon, the engine underneath the hood, as we look at 5th, 6th, and 7th place again. Good scramble there.
3 evenly matched cars, just getting in the corner properly where you can pick up the throttle quick and not overrunning the corners is the whole key to getting around Pocono. These guys are learning as they go.
17, Mike Galt. Again, he has that Crawford Clements engine powering his efforts here. The 91, Morris Weiss, who used to run for the Mid-America Regional Championship in the Winston Racing Series. And the 24, Don Wagner, who runs NASCAR Modifieds in New York. Not the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour, but the local Modifieds up in New York State. He's in car 24. Meanwhile, there's the good scramble for second. Marty Ward, the orange car, inside of Wally Fowler, who's going to go wide.
This ought to be a very interesting run here. Both of them are loose, so you see Marty Ward powering off down the straightaway, but they're basically pretty even down through there. You see that Marty Ward changes line a little bit, but makes the pass just before he gets to the tunnel turn.
They're 1 4/10 seconds, though, behind Lester Lesneski, the race leader. And Lester is probably saying, go right ahead, boys. Keep on mixing it up.
The biggest thing right now, I think Marty Ward may have as fast a car as Lesneski, and he's getting away from Fowler there in third place, so the car won't be as loose as long as he can keep Fowler back, but if Fowler gets right up under him, it'll loosen his car up quite a bit.
There you see second place and Ward. 81 car running an 8th spot, along with the 17 car of Mike Galt. Jerry Rector, 81, the pole sitter here today. We've seen a lot more good side-by-side racing than I had expected. Sometimes the fields can tend to get strung out, but the cars are very evenly prepared. Jerry Rector, and the 17 of Mike Galt, the 24 of Don Wagner.
Boy, those old Monte Carlos still make a pretty race car coming through that corner. Yeah, and you see how nice it sets going in the corner. Great race cars have won many a race.
Not to be confused with the current day Monte Carlos. Meanwhile, up front, Lester Lesneski, Marty Ward beginning to close in now. It was a 2nd and 4/10. It is now less than a second. Who do you like, Buddy Baker?
Well, I wouldn't pick anybody right now. I'm not going out on a limb, but I think Lesneski will win because he's been strong all day, and Marty Ward does have a loose condition. If he takes the lead right now, all that Lesneski has to do is get right up under him, make him extremely loose, and make the pass.
And this battle, Wally Fowler in the 4 and the 31 of Andy Thurman continues on. Kind of like Thurman's style there. He's just not riding and waiting. He's trying to force the issue a little bit as they head towards the tunnel turn. And Thurman, good inside jump this time on Wally Fowler, and they just about touch going through the corner.
That's I want the spot more than you do. Going in that corner, he just showed him the quarter panel. The yellow flag is out.
And caution is on the speedway. We have one car you see up in the wall, and another one spins. Junior Green hit the wall, 75. Then the 9 car, Larry Black, spun to avoid him. And then the 41 car, you see Mathis, who had the off-track excursion earlier. He ends up with a problem. And yet another automobile up there, Bill Jarjabka, who is in yet another Darrell Waltrip car. So a multi-car problem in turn number 1, all keyed originally by this man who spun first. That was Junior Green, and then everybody else had to spin to avoid him at lap number 45. So caution on the speedway for the 4th time here this afternoon, and this is going to tighten things up. We're going to have a dandy battle for the lead when we come back live at Pocono with just 15 laps to go.
Woo, ugly. Look at Sherry Menor go through there.
Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, that's pretty good slide. Larry Black got about a 4 on the...
The Russian judge gave it only a 3-1.
Look at this.
He's sliding backwards.
Boy, that's something I wished I could have done a million times. No. Just go back and start over again, not make that mistake to begin with. Look at Sherry Minter. She's going, yeah, stay up there. Boom, 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 boom. Larry Black slides. Ooh, that car's got tremendous. Looks like Bud Moore's car when I drove it up here. Hard into the wall. Somebody hooked me out here. Gina.
Back with you at Pocono International Raceway. Cleanup crews now tending to the machines in turn number 1. Drivers beginning to walk away from a multi-car spin. Junior Green among those involved. Larry Black was a spinning automobile, among many others. Bill Jarjabka also along. And again, a quick run of the concession stand for Punxsutawney Phil. Remarkable, as much as he's eating, he's still keeping his girlish figure.
Kind of like you and I.
Oh, definitely so. Gina Ward is down on the pit lane, the significant other of Marty Ward.
Well, she's smiling, Eli, then she's frowning, and I don't know how quite to take you back here, but how do you stand here and watch it? I know you're excited for him, but what goes through your mind when you're sitting back here watching your husband run out there?
Well, I want him to do good, but I also want it to be a good, safe race, and I'm just glad when it's all over.
Well, give us the pick. Do you think he can do it? He's come from a ways back now. He's run him down. He's second. You caught a caution. Give us your pick. Think you can get him?
Oh, yes, he can do it.
Ah, the way to be.
Gina Ward, the wife of Marty Ward, who continues to ride around here under caution. He's going to make a solid NASCAR Busch Series driver. Again, they have to get everything together and work on their dollars and cents and so on, but he's going to be a fine racer. There's Butch Mathis surveying what remains of Will Hobgood's old car. Mathis, you might remember, brought out the first caution of the day at lap 3 when he went through the dirt, and this longtime dirt track racer has got himself some problems again. He's either surveying things or praying to his fabricator one.
I would say probably right now he's getting the cobwebs out of his head, because the car has a lot of damage on it, and he's doing the smart thing there, taking his time. You see the rescue people staying with him. He really don't want to go to the hospital, but for precaution, they do that.
You've got to. NASCAR mandates the fact that you go to the infield care center. There you see Junior Green's car. You know what that car is? That car won the Daytona 500.
No.
Yes, sir. That is Derek Cope's Purelator car.
My goodness.
That won the Daytona 500. Let's take a look at how the running order is shaken down now. We're about 14 laps from conclusion. Lester Lesneski, Marty Ward, Andy Thurman, Fowler, and Rector. All 5 of those men have led this race today at one stage or another. Mike Galt, Don Wagner, Morris Bice, Henry Benfield perseveres in 9th, and Joey Gaeta, a good run currently in the 10th spot. At 46 of the 60 laps complete. You see some
little oil dry.
Yeah, being shoveled out there in the corner. The 15 car still to be cleared away. Bill Jarjabka. That car now has Buick skin on it. He is a former go-kart champion. We talked about some fellas who are go-kart racers. Lake Speed, of course, Ricky Rudd and others. Jarjabka, former go-kart champion.
And hello, Eli. How you doing?
Yeah,
all right.
They're having a great time, and so are those folks out sunning themselves.
And they better have some sunscreen on.
Yeah. Tell you though, with all the impending doom from the weatherman about this major heat wave, we've had a very significant breeze today. Certainly it's warm, but that breeze has really taken an edge off things.
Well, it's been pretty warm up here. I'm sure the guys down in the pits may not agree with us on all the
Maybe not.
whether it's that comfortable or not. But you're right. There has been a breeze out of the north today, and it really hadn't been steamy yet.
These same NASCAR Sportsman Series cars will be running again at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the month of October. There's some of the crew looking on and marching off to their next locale, which is underneath a tent. Wisely done, fellas. Yeah, it has been a very, very warm day, and there's Randy Pemberton and others. Look like Nelson Crozier there alongside assisting. Those are the folks who do the work. We're up here in an air-conditioned booth, and those are the guys down there who do the work.
Eli, you're blowing it. Don't do that. I always used to tell the crew, I work hard as you do. Now here you are blowing their image. I'm telling you.
Gotta excuse me.
Gotta be truthful,
Gotta
right?
tell it like it is. There's a leader, Lester Lesneski, continuing under caution. Lester took the lead most recently at lap number 31, and he has not been headed since. He led laps 10 through 15 after Marty Ward led the first 8 laps. Steve Burns, is it getting any more palatable down there temperature-wise?
Eli, here is your significant breeze, just barely blowing this flag on the pit card. So yes, it's very comfortable down here.
Steve, by the way, while we have a moment, the folks who may just be tuning in aren't possibly aware that Rusty Wallace did not qualify earlier today after a rules infraction with his NASCAR Winston Cup machine. Anything further from NASCAR? Obviously, we had Kevin Triplett on the air earlier. Anything further?
Well, NASCAR's official comment, according to Gary Nelson, is officially no comment. We did try and talk to Rusty earlier. He said, we're confused. We're not going to say anything. But repeating the point, NASCAR's point is we are not going to say a thing until they further discuss the situation.
All right, Steve, thank you.
Eli, let me follow up on that.
Sure, please.
Just to elaborate, for those who don't know, the roof flaps were said to be made of illegal parts. Now, again, don't want to speculate. We don't know officially if any fines will be handed down. But again, it was the roof flaps that were found to be made of illegal parts.
So again, we'll be finding out certainly as our weekend continues. There's what remains of the Butch Mathis automobile. He'd had a fairly decent run going. He was in 25th, but his day is done. But ours is not. 12 laps to go.
Oh, my. A man with his camel. My goodness. Eli, everybody has cool tires now. Do you want to take your dollar off the board, or
My
you
dollar
hanging
remains.
there, are you?
Can't change now.
Okay. Jerry Rector may come back and win this thing.
He could.
What in the world? What? Pull up, pull up. Something's hung under it. What? I see it. What is that?
Looks like the
Oh,
ground.
you got it. Whatever.
It's
Oh,
the groundhog.
Puxatani. That was Pux.
Yeah. That's fine. Fine. Track cleanup is continuing here at Pocono after the multi-car spin in turn number 1. So Lester Lesneski continues to pace this field under the 4th caution flag of the day. When Buddy Baker and I signed on the air earlier today, we talked about the fact that this is truly a proving ground, a learning area for these drivers. And John Carroll is here. He made the trip from Fairfield, Texas, to what he had hoped would be his very first asphalt race ever. Unfortunately, it's not going to turn out that way, but let's get more from the story down on pit road.
No, Eli, he unfortunately did not get a chance to start this race. They brought their car here. The engine dropped the valve. You searched everywhere, didn't you, John, to try and find an engine? What happened from there?
Yeah, we went all through the pits trying to borrow an engine or at least one, and nobody had one. So we just kind of got to put it on the truck and go back and see what we can do with it.
Well, it sounds disheartening, but is it? I mean, can you make a comeback, and you want to show up at Charlotte with another opportunity to run the Sportsman division?
Yeah, we came here and we were pretty far off the pace, but we got the speeds down where we'd have qualified in the top 15 before that happened. So we kind of got the chassis figured out and what we need to do, so we'll just go back and build another one and try it again.
How many Sportsman races would this have been your first race?
This is the first time on asphalt. All we do is run dirt.
Okay, tough break. Maybe we'll see you at Charlotte.
We'll be there.
Okay, Eli.
All he does is run dirt. He has been in the IMCA point lead much of the year, and that's some of the fans looking on from their vantage points here as we continue under caution at Pocono. Boy, I tell you, you're not going to be able to find fans like this anywhere else.
Great hat.
Wasn't it, though?
Oh, yeah. Mighty Mouse hat turned around backwards. And do you see those shorts? Who was that guy?
The field looks on, getting set for the restart. That is Lester Lesneski's crew that we get a good look at. And we're going racing now. It'll be 10 laps to go when the field comes to the stripe and gets the green flag from Doyle Ford. 10 laps to settle it between the 98 Lester Lesneski, the 97 Marty Ward, the 31 Andy Thurman, the 4 car Wally Fowler, and anybody else who might want to join the battle. The 81 Jerry Rector, he's been a factor. Those 5 have led. The 17 of Mike Galt is next in line, though he has not quite made it to the point here today. 8 different lead changes among 5 drivers. 4 caution periods for 14 laps now wrapping up as we go back to green here at Pocono to settle the 150. And a quick jump on the start for the 81 car, trying to find an opening. Jerry Rector, he'll cut to the inside here of the main straightaway.
It's feeding time right now. Look at everybody coming down through there, 4 or 5 wide down towards turn 1. They have to get back in 2 by 2 as they go through this corner.
Something's got to give. Little chrome horn action right there as Marty Ward now goes for the lead against Lesneski. He's got Thurman right behind him, car number 31.
That should get him right on by. He has help there in the draft to head into the tunnel turn as we speak. Andy Thurman's right on his back bumper. They go by Lesneski getting into that corner.
So Lester goes from the lead to 3rd. Marty Ward with drafting help from Thurman. Now Thurman has led from the 16th through the 19th lap today, and also can be strong enough to get to the point. So this is not Marty Ward's race quite yet.
Well, somebody's moving in fast there in 4th place, Jerry Rector. He was a lap down, fought his way back into the lead lap. Now he's running 4th, maybe the fastest car on the speedway.
But if he's going to be fast, he'll be fast down pit road. He is being black flagged by NASCAR. Remember we said what a great start for Rector? It was too good for him. He jumped that restart, but he will be black flagged. Wow. Here's a battle for the lead in turn number 1. Whoa. Thurman, the 31, Ward, the 97, Lesneski, the 98, and Ward takes the Highland route to grab the lead.
A little bit of contact, even on the straightaway, they're still rubbing a little bit. Lesneski and the Thurman there. They hadn't decided whether they're giving up on this at all. Rector hadn't seen the black flag yet. He has moved into 4th place, but he has to stop in just a few moments.
That'll hand the 4th place over to the 24 car of Don Wagner. But watch the scramble now for 2nd place while the leader, Marty Ward, begins to pull away.
See Don Wagner moving in on the outside of Rector there. He's moving into the fray now. He comes through the corner, pushes out just a little bit, but he is solidly in there in 4th place.
And Galt will try and help Rector around. Rector saves the car, now spins it on the apron, but that was Mike Galt, the 17, who came up behind the Rector car and gave him a little boot in the caboose.
That will not bring out the yellow. He has refired and trying to make it down the pit road as we speak.
Lap 52, 8 laps remaining, and now the car has stopped. Jerry Rector, he'll refire it now moments later, and he'll pull down the pit lane, and the great battle for 2nd spot continues. 31 Thurman, 98 Lesneski, all of this about a dozen car lengths behind the leader, Marty Ward.
Wow, Lesneski just drove it in there an extra 2 car lengths and took the spot away from Thurman as they got into the tunnel turn there.
This has been a heck of a race today.
They better get with it because it looks to me like Marty Ward right now has things his way. As I speak, though, here comes Lesneski closing in. It's 1, 2, maybe 3 car lengths now back to 2nd place.
3rd spot is Thurman. 4th is Wagner. 5th position is Morris Bice now. In 6th, Wally Fowler. That's how they head off towards turn number 1. And here goes Lesneski for the lead, trying to outdive Marty Ward into the corner. He's got it. Lester Lesneski back at the point.
Well, Marty Ward's proved that he can pass him again, so he may have made that move thinking he can draft back by him as we get down closer to the checkered flag.
So from lap 51 to 53, Ward the leader, but now Lester Lesneski reassumes the lead, but let's see what Ward does.
The fast car through these flat corners right there is the 24 car right now, Don Wagner. He's running quite well, sitting in 4th place.
That's the battle for the lead. 7 laps to go.
Marty Ward took a look on the inside. Lesneski just drove her in there about another car length deeper and took that spot back. He's leading this race.
Just like an IROC race, as equally matched as these cars are.
Well, that's the good part of this division. They are evenly matched, and it's up to the guys to really get with the crews and set the cars up the best.
54 laps on the board, just 6 remaining. Back into turn number 1. Ward's car still looks like it might want to kick out just a tad going into 1.
Well, he reported he had a loose condition, and the further they run, that condition will come back more because the looser the car is, of course, it heats the right rear up and makes it run a little bit more sideways through the corner. But all these cars are drifting through the corners. Lesneski was a little loose getting into turn 1 himself.
Across the tunnel turn. Front 3 trying to pull away from 4th place Don Wagner.
You know, Andy Thurman is really watching through this part of the racetrack here. That car is sitting very well. You see him picking up the throttle, headed towards the front straightaway here. He closes in about 3 or 4 car lengths in that one corner there. He may be the sleeping giant of this race.
5 laps to go. 5 remaining here at Pocono. 4 men trying to settle the win in the Pocono Sportsman 150.
You see, Lester likes the race pretty much like I did. I always liked for a guy to have to figure a way by me. I wanted to lead right down to the end because sitting in 2nd place, that car can get wide in front of you when you're trying to take the lead there on the last lap.
Marty Ward, you remember, did pit on lap number 9. The 31 car of Thurman, he is not pitted. The 4 car of Wally Fowler has not pitted, so certainly Ward has fuel. Lesneski, we know, has pitted. But with what have been 14 caution laps, we should be in a pretty good window for these fellas to go the distance without a stop.
See Marty Ward coming through the corner here. Watch his line off the corner. He's holding the car pretty tight, not letting it run out where he has to jerk the steering wheel. He does have a little bit of a loose condition, but the car is working pretty well around the whole racetrack.
Just 4 laps remaining. Lester Lesneski in the 98, Ward the 97. Ward gets a good jump off the corner.
I was just fixing to say, if there's anything that he has an advantage out of turn 1 there. You see he closed up within a car length of Lesneski, just coming up out of that corner. He does have a jump there. If he can make that move on the last lap and get even with Lesneski coming out of that corner and hold it going into the tunnel turn, he may win this race.
Now down the north straightaway. Towards turn number 3. The front 2 have pulled away now from 3rd place Thurman. It's basically a 2-man race here.
One slip and everybody's right back on your collar.
Oh, way to go, buddy. That would be Bobby Costa, who has problems going across the tunnel. Cashes in turn number 2. The caution is out, and that's going to do it. This race is not going to be able to restart in time for us to go racing again. One would not assume. They'll have to come back around lap 58. They will not be enough time for this race to go. So like we saw in the ARCA event here yesterday, this event is likely to wrap up under the caution flag.
It's a big racetrack. We'll just have to wait and see because there's not a lot of parts and stuff down in that corner. If they can get the wrecker out there, it might be a 1-lap shootout towards the checkered flag.
Well, he went across the tunnel. Bobby Costa did at lap number 57, and let's look at it again and see exactly what happened. He's in the 76. Robbie Faggart is in the 8.
A little contact on the right rear, just enough to upset it. You see the car take a set there. Big trouble there. Now it turns towards the wall. Driver's side hits.
Here's one more look from the side view. The first angle will likely be the more revealing one.
Eli, you'll see the 76 car right here. Just turn out just a little bit and you jerk the wheel. That's what happens.
So under caution now here at Pocono International Raceway for the 5th time this afternoon. We're going to be hard pressed to get this event back at all under green. Bobby Costa being checked out by the safety crew here. The car that Kirk Shelmerdine used to drive in this series and has a Spenny Clendenin engine in it.
You can see the driver moving around in there. That's always a good sign. You see the workers talking to him. He's more concerned about getting the car off the wall, and that's a good sign.
But this one is going to end under caution because we're at lap 58 now. They have not gotten the one-to-go signal, so as you see the driver climbing from the automobile, Lester Lesneski is going to take this one under caution back to the house in Stanfield, North Carolina.
You can see the driver there. He looked down the left side of that car, very disappointed, a lot of damage to that car. The good part is he's not hurt.
That's the important thing as he waves to the fans. Marty Ward crossed the line in second. Third is Andy Thurman. Fourth place at the caution will be the Don Wagner automobile. And fifth position, Morris Bice. And now it's just a matter of running out these final roughly 4 miles now remaining to put this event in the book. But I'll tell you something, these guys put on a heck of a show today.
They did that, and you know, Lester drove to win, and he deserves a win. The car worked well all day. One time he made a pit stop, got way back in the field, worked his way back to the lead. Very deserving win for him.
Field now following the safety truck. That is Lester Lesneski's crew looking on, beaming. Again, this is that home-built car that Lester went to Mike Laughlin's shop, took videotapes with his home VCR camera, then put it on the TV and said, all right, now let's see what they're doing here. And he tried to duplicate the car, and obviously he's done a heck of a job with it.
Well, he's going to come down here on this lap to get the white flag.
Meanwhile, Bobby Costa in the ambulance getting the ride to the infield care center. We saw him, though, as you did, jump out of the car, but that is what remains. And that's the tough thing because October will come around very, very quickly for these teams as they head to Charlotte next, and dollars are a consideration. There's going to be a good bit of a tab there to repair that 76 car.
I was just fixing to say, you see the quarter panels on these cars. They're basically, most of them are not, they don't have a sponsor on them, and I would like to see some smaller companies get involved here. It's a way to grow with the race team, and as the business gets bigger, they can move up with the driver out of this division into Busch and then into Western Cup.
And as you see, Doyle Ford now doing double-fisted duty there with the caution and the white flag being displayed. Steve Burns is down in the Lester Lesneski pit area with Lester's wife.
And her name is Sherry. Now, Sherry, I want to ask you something. You guys are going to win the race. When a Winston Cup team wins, they'll get on their private jets, go to a fancy restaurant or establishment. How will you guys celebrate?
Jump in our dually and head home for a 12-hour drive.
It sounds pretty glamorous.
Yeah, bless his heart right now. I know he needs a cold drink.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's also what this division is all about, family.
Oh, I seen her in the Winston Cup garage today, brought cookies and things to Dale Inman. Dale Inman's helped him on occasion, you know, with advice and stuff. Brought him a little thing of cookies and cake and all that. Great little family there.
12-hour drive back to Stanfield, North Carolina. The Mark III Financial Chevrolet heading to victory lane here at Pocono International Raceway. There's the 5th time that those yellow lights have been flashing here this afternoon. At this point, they will show 20 cars on the lead lap as the souvenir hunters head home. That's going to become somebody's coffee table, I bet you.
Let's make this clear. He bought that tire. It's probably got a number 3 or a number 6 or a number 21 on it. They buy these tires, but it didn't land in the grandstand. He bought that tire.
Definitely so. Put a nice piece of glass on top of that, and it becomes a coffee table in the den at home.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it does. Lester Lesniewski heading to victory lane. While kind of like a Maudlin trophy, the car of Bobby Costa comes off turn number 3 behind the record to end our afternoon's coverage here at Pocono International Raceway. There you see the Costa car being dragged in the foreground, while Lester Lesniewski will enjoy the trip to victory lane here at Pocono International Raceway. Good race today with Marty Ward coming home in second spot, Andy Thurman third, Don Wagner fourth, and fifth Morris Spice here in Pennsylvania. We're coming right back. We'll head to victory lane as soon as we return. Lester Lesniewski wins. We're back to the Poconos to wrap it up right after this. You got it, Toyota.
The most beautiful words in all of auto racing. Close this baby out.
So.
Uh-huh.
Really? Hang around for that is always competitive. The Sportsman cars as well as the ARCA Supercar Series putting on a fantastic show.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your help. That's all right.
There. This will go to a good cause.
Enjoy the beer. I gotta take that back to BSR. Thanks.
That is really funny there.
Yeah. That you can keep. All right. Because it will be. Oh, Bambi is here.
Bambi.
Oh, she's eating
look.
Phil.
Oh, look.
Aww.
Look. Eating Phil? No. Shut up.
She's eating the
Who
groundhog.
said that? Look at the deer. Oh, a little spotted one.
Yeah.
Folks, Tony says nap time.
Yeah.
It says racing in environment.
The racing engines have shut down for the day. Pocono returns to its natural splendor. The Gatorade Sportsman 150 on Prime has been brought to you by the Gatorade Company. If you're not standing on the sidelines, you're going to get thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up. By Sports Cream. When you overdo it, massage in Sports Cream for fast relief of sore muscles without embarrassing odor. By Just for Men, the leader in men's hair coloring, blends away gray in just 5 minutes. And by the Body Heat Activated Degree, antiperspirant and deodorant. Randy Pemberton is in victory lane here at Pocono with Lester Lesniewski.
Oh, there he goes, gets a hug from his wife. Congratulations, Lester. Got a great smile on your face, deservedly so. Great run today.
Boy, well, I tell you what, we just threw another setup underneath it today, and I'll tell you what, you couldn't have hit it any better. Car was like perfect all day long, and I got to thank the crew. They really worked hard on it. Mark III Financial Service, Loctite. I keep forgetting to tell them guys. So anyway, man, the car was really dominant. It was great today. I could not believe how good the car was.
How about the heat in the car? Because 60 laps took us quite a little while to run this race. Did it get hot in there?
Yes, it did. It felt like an oven for a long time. In fact, it's harder under the cautions than anything because you don't think about it when you're racing, but boy, when you slow down, you find out how hot it is.
Congratulations on the win for you, and go celebrate with your crew.
Thank you.
Eli.
All right, Randy, thank you. Now it's time for the final rundown. The final standings brought to you by Sports Cream. Lester Lesniewski, it was not easy at all, Buddy Baker.
No, he did a great job. He did what he had to do. It's unfortunate they had the caution, but I think it would have ended just like it did.
There you see the top 5. All of those fellows, these are top 3, have led today. Don Wagner, Morris Bice. Wally Fowler, he was the man many expected to be the race winner. Henry Benfield finishes 8th. Good runs for Joey Gaeta and Ronnie Grindstaff. Fine efforts here today. Jeff Ninneman, a strong 11th place finish. Robbie Faggart finishing in 15th. He was mixing it up early today before moving on to Busch Series racing next year. Johnny Mackison Jr. Sherry Minter finishing 19th, and our pole sitter Jerry Rector came home in 20th spot. Jimmy Lamoureux, Gary Layton, Bobby Costa had problems there late in the day over turn 2. Butch Mathis had a couple of problems early today, but he'll be back to race another day. Bill Jarjapka, Derek Countryman, Stephen Howard, and Ronnie Sewell, the 29 men who went to the line today. That's going to do it from Pocono International Raceway. Glad you've been with us. 2 big winners today. Bill Elliott winning the Busch pole, and today Lester Lesniewski winning the Sportsman race. For Buddy Baker, Randy Pemberton, and Steve Burns, I'm Eli Gold. Thanks so much for joining us as we say goodnight from Pocono Raceway.